Thank you.
It's not easy. Yeah. It's not easy to be honest, because I tell you, I miss definitely.
As you know, we're also here to meet with our Norwegian politician contact, who went on record to talk about the involvement of Norway and the Norwegian politicians with some kind of scenario. Are you able to say anything to substantiate his testimony?
Absolutely.
Because he stands alone at the moment with this coverage, and a lot of people say that either he's inventing it or that we're inventing it.
What I can say is, from my own experience, is underground basis.
He said he would name the bases.
Yeah, no.
That's what he said.
Definitely, there is bases here. I mean, there is a base in Oslo for over 2,000 people. The entrances are in the east and west side of Oslo. In Vika, there is some entrances towards the port in Frogn. I mean, this is underground bases that have been constructed to protect the population in a situation of emergency. That is without no doubt. And at the same point, as I said, for various experiments. And to keep the gold, because gold seems to be, at the end of times, if all the banks fall and everything falls into a chaos, gold seems to be this hard, consistent currency that can be used for moment. Now, Norway has built for many years this kind of special deposit for money, this oil tax they call it, for a big deposit that needs to protect them for the times in which they will finish their resources. That is the official statement. Why are you putting all this money on the side, taxing people like heck, making us live in this way? In Norway, everybody could be a millionaire in Norway, if they really release the money from the oil they are getting. But instead, it's not like that. We are living, some people in Norway even living on the verge of poverty, because these people have to build the bunkers, have to construct all this. And at the moment in Norway, the military are increasing their line of control over people, order technology. I have a personal experience. The police I have informants in the police at this moment of time that told me how they're developing and how they're working with the ultimate technologies to control us. They're listening to us now. They are controlling every single moment. And they are able to now, on the verge of the revolution of the microchip, which is truly revolutionary for them, because at that point, the moment in which they chip us, then they can let the resources fall apart, but they have still control of us. The cities can get out of control, can fall, the whole structure can be destroyed, but we will still be monitored from the satellites. So that is something we have to keep in mind. So the moment of disaster for them is also a moment in which they still don't have to keep control of the loose cannons running around. Otherwise, there will be definitely the possibility of a true insurgence. So here in Norway, we have already a passport with microchip. I don't know if you have noticed it, if somebody has shown it to you. But Norway is, like all Scandinavian countries, the one that in the Illuminati experiment represents a primer. Also regarding the mixing of races. For example, for a period of time, it's well known also within the NATO reports that these countries specifically were kept out of contamination of immigration because their bloodlines had to be kept pure, Great. Well, always to do with the bloodlines. Now the bloodlines are mixing up. The scenario is lost. We have, though still in Norwegian Freemasonry, a bunch of degenerate Christian fundamentalists who are also Nazis, from my own personal experience. They say that in the war they fought the Nazis, and they were great patriots. And actually Himmler made a museum there where you saw today the Grand Lodge for a period of time, to show how these people were manipulating the scene. He said, okay, this is the museum of the Freemasons who are controlled by the Zionists and are part of this establishment. But he forgot to say that the Freemasons are actually controlled by the Vatican. The most enlightened brother of the Red Cross in Norway is the 11th degree, who is linked to the Vatican and is approved by the Vatican, because this kind of Freemasonry is actually officially approved in every single ritual has been read. Because of the high content of esoteric knowledge, the Swedish system needed to be approved by the Vatican. Because they had to leave the last blessing on top of this system. So a Freemason from France, an officer from France, went with all the rituals to the Pope and showed the Swedish Rite rituals and said, you approve, His Excellency, this ritual, He approved. That's it. So if he approves this bunch of pagan Egyptian nonsense and in this kind of things, what kind of word is this? It's a hypocrite word, where on one side they're claiming to be monotheistic and believe in one God, on the other side they're worshipping all kinds of gods. There is definitely a clash. You know.
What about Berlusconi?
Berlusconi is a well-known P2 member.
He's trying to come back into power, right, in Italy?
He is going to be back into power probably very soon. There is no alternative, because there is no... The church make this government fall down. And why is that? Why the Prodi is now saying, I'm going to take care of my grandsons and live in politics? Because he did one wrong thing to the Pope, and the Pope the week after made the government fall down. The Pope was supposed to have a lecture at the University of Rome, La Sapienza. This lecture couldn't happen because of the opposition inside the university, with all the people reminding, that Giordano Bruno was burned on the stake, that Galileo was arrested, that a lot of things have happened, that, the Pope shouldn't come to the Rome University of La Sapienza. So he didn't go. But the week after, he managed, with the Christian Democrats of Mastella, to make the government fall down. And Prodi now is going to go and play cricket, or play golf or whatever. I mean, it's not going to be anymore into the field of politics, because he rebelled once. Well, he created this possibility of the Pope not going to the university. That's not... I mean, that shows you the power of the Pope. The Pope doesn't have to talk much. Prodi does one thing wrong, he's out. Scrapped off the books. CFR, Bilderberg, whatever. He can be whatever he wants. Now,
okay, so who's coming into power in America? Do you know? Is it going to be Barack Obama, or is it going to be
now, in the last
Clinton?
few days, if you go on the internet, you will see that Renz.com and other websites, Illuminati News, have published an article where I state that Barack Obama is a Prince Hall Freemason, 32-degree Freemason, and also a CFR member. He has written a big article lately on this Council of Foreign Relations.
Okay, yes, and you said that earlier, but what about Hillary Clinton? She's
another CFR member.
So how...
It's like, there is no difference really between these candidates, who they are, who is the background. People say, but the guy is black. No, the guy is black. The guy is even related to Bush and Clinton, to Bush and Dick Cheney, I mean, it's not really like we're really searching for somebody who is, coming from another planet. He's coming from the same environment. It's a human like everybody else, probably a more innocent guy than others, so he's more easy to manipulate, because the moment in which they want to implement true fascism is the moment in which they will make you believe that anti-fascism is in place. So to put Barack Obama as president and Hillary as vice president is a possibility that the Democratic Convention might take, or vice versa, depending on who is getting more votes at the end of this next vote.
Okay, I have one last question for you.
But definitely McCain is not going to win. Why? Because George Hugo Ballesteros stated, director of the government of New York, these elections we support the Democrats. So Republicans are not on the list of support of the Illuminati. They can't make it. McCain can climb walls, can do whatever he wants. He's not going to become anything. Poor guy's too old, really.
Okay. Leonardo da Vinci. He was a member of the Illuminati or not?
Definitely a guy like him is an Illuminati. It's natural, you see, it's Illuminati. I mean, it's Illuminati, the whole concept around him, the guy was a genius. The problem is that from there to make him the Grand Master of a Priory of Zion, totally fictitious. What was the Priory of Zion? Priory of Zion was a society that was born in Mount Zion, in Palestine, where you have this Cathedral of Zion, whatever. And basically what happened was this order lasted for a very short period of time. And people say, where is the Priory of Zion today? Priory of Zion, if you go and search on the history books, has melted in with the Jesuits. Mm-hmm. It doesn't exist any priory. The other 6 priories of Zion that exist today is on the internet or whatever, or Plantar Sinclair has created. Plantar Sinclair was the biggest piles of rubbish and fraud and an agent of the Illuminati, because he was an agent of Gladio. He was like Licio Gelli. He wanted to create great myths, which he picked up from his friend Robert Ambeleni, from the Martinists. He picked up the myth, obviously the Martinists had created this church, it was the Kabbalistic order of the Rose Cross that had created all the esoteric part of the Renaissance Church, with Abbe Saunier. He was a genuine esoteric interested guy, but all the rest is rubbish. Where he took all his money? Well, from the initiations that they were paying him, because he was making that church profitable the moment in which he was inviting all these people to initiate themselves into high, glorious, rectified Scottish Rite, another peculiar Templar foundation of that were created in a way mythological, fictitious, but had a ground of truthness. A private Zion of Plantar Sinclair is also Catholic. All the people involved with it, I have a personal, and I can show you documents involved with the Pride of Zion. The people involved nowadays, Gino Sandri, the secretary of Plantar Sinclair, was a member of the Monte Carlo Lodge. Gino Sandri is also one of the biggest intelligence crooks there is around.
Okay, and CIA is completely run by the Vatican, is that what you're saying?
No, by the Vatican. They call on themselves, make confederate. The priests are very run. It's all about working together. It's not about running each other. Each other in their own, we take care of this, which is the spirit of mankind, give a couple of blessings. Plus, you need to make some charity every now and then. Tax deductible if possible. We have the church, we have a lot of organizations, you give the charity. If you give good charity, you are a good man, and I give you blessings. This is done also in the Russian Orthodox Church, where since the fall of the Soviet Union, you see this big priest going around with Mercedes, limousine, whatever. Why? Because they're getting a bunch of money from these sinners of the Russian mafia, who are sinning like heck, and have 6 lovers, 12, whatever, the wife there waiting. But at the end of the day, they give money to the church. That saves their, I saw a lot of people, and also in Islam, I saw so many people, they give charity. Okay, I respect that. But then what do you do in your daily life? Do you really respect the Quran? Do you really respect rubbish? They don't follow, they just give the charity in order to save their asses with God, if possible.
At the front of the Jesuit footage, there's a reference not to the SIV, but the SVS. And Lucas Cantambolo did not know what that was and hasn't been able to find out. Do you know what that is? The SVS?
Servizio Vaticano Segreto. Basically, Servizio Informazioni Vaticano.
Oh, right, the Secret Service of the Vatican.